Hi, everyone. Welcome to Write What's Real Live. I am your host, Natasha T. Brown. I am so excited because we have been on a hiatus from Write What's Real, but we're back, and I think you guys are going to really enjoy this edition. We have a really, really wonderful author that I've had the pleasure to work with. Her name is Casey Sharperson. She is a powerhouse. She's a coach, a speaker, an author. She helps millennials get on track to their dreams. And I want you all to meet her now. And then we are going to jump right on into our interview. Hi, Casey.
Hi, Natasha. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited that you are here. So tell everyone, before we start, tell everyone how they can find you on social media.
Yes, I'm very easy to find. I am the only Casey Sharperson ever. So you can find me very easy to find on social media. You can search my full name, but my actual handle is my first and middle name. So at Casey Carea, C-A-R-E-A. So you'll be able to find me either way. You can also Google me. Very easy to find.
Okay, wonderful. All right, guys. So we have a really amazing interview. We have an amazing hour ahead. So stay tuned. Go get some tea. Press this on pause. And then make sure you are listening. Bring your notepads back because you are in for a treat. Okay, hi everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I am super excited to be here tonight. So, as you all know, we are having a live conversation with Casey Sharperson. She is the author of Dream, Build, Repeat, and we are going to bring her on in Instagram, but also on Facebook. And so we are here with our really amazing live conversation. So I'm going to bring Casey on. All right. Casey, are you able to request? Oh, you have requested. Okay.
Hey, looks like it's coming on.
Okay. Hi. Hi. How are you?
Okay.
Okay, so I think we have to cut off the volume on the computers.
Is that better?
That's better.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I was so ready with the tech and I messed it up.
It is okay. It's okay. So we are going to have a really amazing conversation tonight. Hi, everyone on Instagram. Hello, everyone on Facebook. We are super excited. So I'm Natasha T. Brown. You are watching Write What's Real Live. Tonight we're going to talk with Casey Sharperson. She is the author of Dream, Build, Repeat. Hi, Casey.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, so guys, I want you all to do us a favor. Go ahead and invite people to this broadcast. Go ahead and share this broadcast. Go ahead and repost this broadcast. If you are on Facebook, go ahead and start a watch party so you can bring your friends on into this broadcast. I think you all are going to be very inspired tonight. So before we get started, I just want to tell you a little bit about Write What's Real. Write What's Real is a brand of Elohai International. I'm the CEO of Elohai International, and we are a publishing and media company, and our mission is to advance the kingdom of God through books, media, and missions. And so Write What's Real is pretty much an author suite where we try to make the writing process simple for authors. We empower nonfiction authors through live conversations and also practical tools to help with writing and publishing. So we kicked off this whole program about 2 or 3 years ago, and then we had to put it on hiatus, but we're bringing it back. And so I'm so excited because we've done several interviews. And the funny thing is, our first Write What's Real live interview was with Carl Sharperson, who happens to be Casey's father. So this is our first time working, even with our company, working with a father-daughter duo, but they are such a powerhouse family. I mean, their family, I love them. I always tell her dad that you're going to have to adopt me and bring me on into the family because I just love them so much. But welcome, Casey.
Thank you. And you're already in the family. You've been adopted. So here we're excited. We have a whole bunch of other writers in the family coming. So we'll just have a whole family enterprise.
Yes, yes. I love it. I love it. So you all, if you have questions, definitely use that box in Instagram to type your questions, or you can use also Facebook to type your questions. We definitely want to speak to you. We want to speak with you tonight. But I want Casey to tell us a little bit about herself, and then also we'll get into your book. So tell us about you, Casey. Who is Casey Sharperson?
Hello, everyone. As Natasha said, my name is Casey Sharperson, and I am a speaker, confidence cultivator, brand strategist, and coach. So what I love to do is help people that have an idea, really bring that out to the real world, to their audience with messaging, with content. So really getting clear and confident about who they are and what they have to offer the marketplace. So I am super excited to do that through podcasting, through writing, through the kind of background secret work that I do with brands. So I'm excited to be here to meet you all as well.
Yes. She's such a secret weapon, guys. She is so good at branding, marketing, sales, speaking. She's a ball of inspiration. If you watch any of her videos, you would just be so inspired. In her book, I had the pleasure of being the editor of her book. And I was like, she snatched me all the way up maybe about 5 times. And I had to go and put the book down, pick up my vision board, look at my goals, and check off, like, am I really, like, am I doing what I need to do? Because this chick, Casey, is like in my head, all in my business. So if you really need to get motivated, if you need a push, her book, Dream, Build, Repeat, is for you. Okay. All right. So I had to get that out of the way. I'm not just saying that. I absolutely love her book. So tell us about the book, Casey.
Yes. Well, it's interesting that you talk about like how much it impacted you, because when I tell you, and we'll probably get into this, it was such a journey for the words in my head to get onto the pages in my book. Like, it was a whole journey. But the book is really a blueprint and a path for people to go and take their dreams to fruition. So I realized that through my journey that I was really on a path of what was expected. I was on a path of what I thought I should be doing, what I was really positioned to do. And through a series of events, God just showed me that really this journey is more about not only like what's expected of you, but taking those deep dreams that God gave you initially, like those things that you wanted to do before life happened, like really taking those, identifying them, and coming up with a plan to bring them to action. So what I didn't want is to really inspire people to start to dream again, but then not give them a plan and a path on how to actually take action on those dreams. So that's what the book is about. It's an action plan. It has several stories of ways that, you know, life comes and people say things. And slowly but surely, if you allow those negative things or those situations that don't turn out the way that you expect them to, there's really a temptation to sit back on your gifts and then move into places that are comfortable. But the book really is there to push you outside of that comfort zone. And it's a journey that I've been on that I feel like I continuously go back to. So that's why it's Dream, Build, Repeat. So the moment that you begin to dream again, you build that, you start building it, and then the journey starts all over again, and then you start the process again. So it's a continuous evolution of who you've been into the person that you truly are supposed to be here in this world.
Yeah, it's so good. She tells some really good stories from your life. You bring out those stories really well. So I wanted you to actually read an excerpt from your book. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Of course. Yes.
So show the book first. Why don't you show everyone the cover?
Yes. This is the book. The foreword is written by Marshawn Evans Daniels. So if you're familiar with her, she's one of my mentors, and it was such a blessing to have her write the foreword to the book. So that's what it's, Harness Fear to Confidently Pursue Your Biggest Dreams. It is on Amazon as well as on my website, so CaseySharperson.com. So the book is broken down. You can see my little ladybug, my ladybug bookmark here. But the book is broken down into 3 sections. It's the dream section, the build section, the repeat section. And within those sections, there are 7 steps that are outlined there. And it really takes you on a journey from like start to finish. So start from, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't have the ability to dream. And it takes you on a journey all the way to like, let's take action on it. Somebody asked how to order the book. So it is on Amazon and CaseySharperson.com. So you can grab that. I am going to read a section from the chapter, Blending. And also, I just have to point out, some people, when they open the book, they're like, the inside is so beautiful. I'm like, oh, this was Ella. That was me. They outlined it, so yes. So I will start reading. Here at the bottom it says, page 44, for those of you that have the book. It says, blending, mask wearing, perfecting, protecting, analyzing. These are all things that we use to cope with people not recognizing the amazing people that we are. Let me rephrase that. You are amazing. You have gifts and talent. Your voice needs to be heard. Your ideas are exceptional. The world needs to know who you are authentically without the mask. You don't have to accept what has been said about you or to you. You don't have to suppress who you are at your core. Your accent is exactly what it should be. Your skin color is the perfect shade. Your hair texture is beautiful. Your height is ideal. Don't allow negativity from people to stunt who you are meant to be. Those negative seeds begin to chip away at self-confidence. They begin to point you in the direction that other people want you to go, rather than the direction that you are designed to go. Blending molds you into a clone of everyone else. It suppresses what makes you unique and causes you to despise the things that make you special. Blending in is what's keeping you from accomplishing your dreams. Are you ready to do the work to stop blending and start shining? There we go.
Blending in is keeping you from accomplishing your dreams. That's powerful, Casey. And now let's talk about that blending now, because you've experienced that in your own life. So can you tell us a time when you did experience blending and how that impacted you?
Yeah. So the concept of blending in, it's really something that I feel like as children, like you just want to be friends with everyone. You want people to accept you. You want everyone to be your best friend, and it's devastating the moment that someone isn't your best friend, right? You think that you're going to be friends with the same people for your whole life. So I always just wanted to blend in. Like I didn't want to stand out. And one of the things that impacted that, I grew up initially in Topeka, Kansas, which Midwest, you know, especially Topeka was not very diverse. I was the only Black girl in my grade, like the entire grade. And so that actually wasn't as shocking. It was just like, oh, I wish there were more people that looked like me. It wasn't a big deal. I would say that I realized the biggest shift when I moved to South Carolina, which was more diverse. And I immediately thought, like, oh my gosh, there's more people that look like me, so we should immediately be friends. And I realized that not everybody felt that way. And it was a learning lesson for me that, and my dad talks about this too a lot, is that just because somebody looks like you doesn't mean they're automatically your best friend. And just because somebody doesn't look like you doesn't mean they're automatically your enemy. That was really a learning lesson for me. But regardless of whatever, whoever I was hanging out with, I just wanted to be like them. So all of those things that I felt like made me different, I wanted to meet those. And if I talk a certain way, okay, let me try to change that. If I want to dress like them, I want to do all these things. And whether we think about this or not, or whether we realize that it's happening or not, some of those mentalities will carry on into other aspects of our lives. So while I'm not that like 7-year-old or that 9-year-old that just wants to be best friends with everyone, we can move into the workplace and feel like I have to dress this way in order to fit in. I need to wear my hair this way in order to do this. I have to really segment who I am in order to meet what I feel like society tells me to be. And when you do that, you begin to mute your skills and your abilities, and you don't even recognize your uniqueness. And when you don't recognize your uniqueness, then you show up looking like other people and wonder why you're not getting promoted and you're not being elevated to the place where you see that you want to go, but you're just blending in. You look like everyone else. You muted your uniqueness. So that was a long way for me to say, I have experienced blending, and I think most people have, but my goal is to awaken that so that people can say, okay, the time now is to be different. And I feel like social media has a tendency to just want something different. Like there's the, oh yeah, all the Instagram models look the same. Like the moment you do something a little bit different, the moment that your feed isn't as curated, like, ooh, this is different, it's authentic, right? Like we love authenticity.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's so funny because I remember reading that part in your book, and you talked about how the world has been sort of, what's the word that I'm looking for? How we've been sort of conditioned to expect everything to be like filtered and smoothed over and beautiful. And so even when, you know, we see people's, or, you know, Instagram posts or Instagram pages and they aren't perfectly curated, you're just like, ew, why isn't this like nice and put together? But no, that person is actually being authentic. And so you talked a lot about authenticity. I love that part of your book.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a challenge to be authentic, I think. And it's something that I'm still even growing in, that tendency when people ask you how you're doing and you have the opportunity to be truthful or to lie. You should be like, I'm fine. Actually, I've been crying for 3 hours, but like, I don't really want to tell you that. So it's a challenge.
How do we get to that place? Because it also, as soon as you started talking about that, I just thought about rejection. You know, people have dealt with rejection. We deal with it every day. And so when you get ready to be authentic or transparent, you have to know that there is some level of rejection that you might have to swallow and get over it. So how do we like move past that?
Rejection, I dealt a lot with rejection. There's whole sections in this book about rejection, and it took a while for me to even recognize that was a problem, that rejection was really keeping me from stepping out in my business. It was really keeping me from completing the book. It's not truly rejection, it's really the fear of rejection. Like that's the thing that we're battling. So if we've been rejected one time, we begin to now apply that to all these different areas of our lives. And we think, okay, if I was rejected one time, anything that I try that's new, anything that's outside of the box, I now run the risk of being rejected. So we second guess and doubt. So in order for us to really step out of that place, it takes a level of trust in yourself. So going back to like, what's the root of the rejection? What's the root of the reason that you are dragging your feet, the reason that you have been really fearing rejection? And the moment that you identify that or get close to identifying it and recognizing like your triggers in that moment, then you can say, this hasn't been proven. Like I have not yet been rejected. Even if the rejection in this area happens, if I'm confident in what I bring to the table, if I'm confident in my uniqueness, if I'm confident to say, this is what my natural gift is, and even if people don't get it yet, it's still valid. And I love to use the example of Uber. Uber was a terrible idea on so many levels. Like, why would you get in the car with a stranger? This is everything countercultural. We have always been taught to not do this. There are people that passed on this idea because it was so bad. And then you see it has now turned into, it's a verb, it's a noun, it's everything. Uber is a part of our life. And it's only a part of our life because the founders said, no, I believe in this. We believe in this. And we're going to power through until somebody else sees it. And that confidence started attracting more people that got it.
Yeah. So confidence is contagious then.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. Confidence is contagious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, Casey, you had a big section in your book where you talk about going up for Mrs. Kaplan or Miss Kaplan. and not getting it, but thinking that you did, and even preparing. And the first year, you know, putting yourself out there, trying to become Miss Kaplan. Kaplan University is the school that Casey attended for undergraduate school. And then, you know, you knew that it wasn't your time though, but you still went forward. And then the second year, you did it again, but you had all your ducks in a row. You had a coach, you had change of outfits, and you just put on your best pageant face because you were a pageant girl, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But then what happened? Tell us about that. What happened? And before you do, let me just do a reset for everyone who just came in. We are speaking with Casey Sharperson. She is a phenomenal author, coach, speaker. She helps people just go after their biggest dreams. She's the author of a book called Dream, Build, Repeat. And this is our Write What's Real live talk series. So we're talking with authors on Tuesday nights, and Casey has just been blessing us so far. So if you have questions, you can post them on Instagram or Facebook, and we will definitely get to your questions if you have any. If you want to get a copy of her book, Dream, Build, Repeat, go ahead to CaseySharperson.com. It's also on Amazon, and it's amazing. I had an opportunity to work with Casey on this book, and you will be blessed by it. Okay, so that's our reset, Casey. So tell us now, what do you do after you prepare for something and you just know it's yours, and what happens after that? So tell us what happened with you, and then tell us how to handle that. Yeah.
Yes. When I tell you this truly authentic moment, I don't think I had really ever shared like that full story. One, because I was embarrassed by it. I felt like the story wasn't enough. I felt like people would judge me for talking about rejection. Like, I felt like people would judge me for a story of like a pageant girl that didn't win. Like, oh, so sad. But for me, it was a lot deeper. So the pageant really represented my life purpose. Like, I felt this was the path in order for me to do truly what I'm doing now. Like, I thought that I needed to have that platform. I thought that I needed to have titles and accolades in order to be a speaker, in order to be a coach, in order to be an influencer, right? So I went up the first year, didn't get it, but at the time, my dad had just been diagnosed with cancer. There's just a lot going on. I ended up pledging sorority that time, so I said, no big deal. Like, I'll just try again. I have the next year in order to do that. So when I went for the second year, and I had so much peace, you know, when people say that, like, when God speaks to you, you'll have peace. And I just felt such incredible peace. I felt like everything was aligning, all the stars aligned, like, this is perfect. And then I went for it and didn't get it. And it was so jarring to me. I didn't realize how much weight I had put into the acceptance of other people. I didn't realize how much I was really looking for others for validation. And I felt like that moment where I didn't get this thing that I thought I was destined to do, the thing that people always told me I would be so excellent at and I should have gotten. And, you know, like, all of that was really jarring for me. And it totally shook my foundation, because my foundation truly was built on a house of cards. Like, it wasn't built on anything strong and solid. It was built on people's opinions and people's perceptions. So I just went into a super deep depression and questioned everything. Felt like I couldn't hear from God. Felt like I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing anymore. If I can't do this, then what am I supposed to do? I'm kind of an all-in person. Like, I'm either all in or I'm all out. Like, it doesn't work. What's happening with my life?
Me too.
It was truly a challenge for me. And I had someone, actually the president's wife, she called me and she's like, hey, Casey, how's it going? And, you know, I put on my mask because I'm always put together. I'm from the South and I have done pageants, so I'm always together, okay? So I pick up the phone and I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? And she's like, well, no, really, how are you doing? And I'm like, oh, everything's fine, like, no big deal. And she said, okay, well, what are you going to do next year? This was my junior year of college, and I needed to graduate senior year. And I said, well, I'm going to graduate. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. And she said, I really feel like you need to get away. You need to do something. And so you have a few options. You could go to Boston because we have a partnership with a school in Boston. You could go to New York. We have a partnership with a school in New York. Or you can study abroad. Let me know. You have 2 days to let me know. And I'm like, what? And this was around Easter. This was like end of the school year, like for real at the end of the school year. The end of school in May. Everything had been closed. And I said, well, everything's closed. She said, don't worry about it. These are your 3 options. Let me know what you choose. And I had always wanted to study abroad. You know, have on my, for those of you that can see the video, I have on my little world map necklace. I've always been interested in traveling, always wanted to do it, never had the opportunity. And study abroad was something that I wanted to do. I said in high school I wanted to do study abroad. Now that the opportunity opened up, I said, fine. I mean, I don't care about these people anyway. They don't even like me. I didn't win, so I left. And I left the country, and that is where it was truly a time for me to just rebuild. So even if we're thinking about this time in quarantine, where you are separated from everything, from everybody, from all that stuff that might have brought you value, really allow this time to give you space to build a strong foundation. That's what happened for me. So I studied abroad, and that really set me on a path to do a lot of the things that I'm doing now through coaching, and love to travel and love to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I really love that part because it was like you hit this really big rejection, and to you it seemed like, you know, things were over. You didn't know what was going to happen, but then this person that God put in your life just intervened, and you didn't even have to tell her something was wrong, but she just knew you that much to know that she needed to intervene. And so she gave you this opportunity to travel, and you traveled. Were you gone for the entire school year?
I wanted to be gone for the whole school year, but I was only gone for a semester. So it was for 4 months. And even, this is the crazy thing, like the only thing I paid for that trip was my lunch. Like I had to pay for food every day, like lunch every day. And I had a really great internship that summer. So like everything was paid for. It was crazy. Never thought that would have happened. But the doors opened up. And I think that that's something that we have to consider. One is the value of your voice. So I think about how different my life would be if I didn't get that call, you know, and how it's so easy for us to question and doubt, like, should I reach out to this person? I'm sure they're fine. They appear to be fine. But because that person reached out to me when they did, then it really changed my life for the better. Like, I mean, I was in such a messed up mental space that I don't know what I would be doing or how long it would take me to get out. So I just want to encourage the people that are listening to really check on your strong friends, check on people that have faced some level of rejection, and just follow your gut, your intuition, that feeling. For those of you that believe in the Holy Spirit, check in the Holy Spirit, because He will lead and direct you in those moments.
Absolutely. So, okay, speaking of the Holy Spirit, you went on this travel experience for a semester, and then you came back, and you were an AKA. You pledged, right?
Yes.
And you came back, and then you had this other moment where you were going to you realized you needed to know all of this stuff about your sorority because you had been gone and you hadn't been in sorority world, and so you needed to brush up on all these things. And then what happened?
Yes. Okay. So I went to an HBCU, so Claflin University, oldest HBCU, historically Black college university in South Carolina. And we take Greek life very seriously. Like a lot of the HBCUs, we take Greek life very seriously. So I had been gone for a semester, and I came back and I was like putting on my pin to go out to some party or some stroll off, something like that. And I just in my brain was like, oh, I probably should brush up on stuff. I'm sure somebody's gonna ask me like, what's been going on? So I have this moment, and I realized, and it was truly a Holy Spirit moment, where I said, oh my gosh, I know all of this information, like 100 years worth of information, everything from who founded it, when, everything. And when you asked me if I was a Christian, like, so I'm going to explain this a little bit better. So basically, you know, you wear a pin, you know that you're in a sorority. Everybody knows you're in a sorority. You can back it up because you can say the right thing. If somebody were to check me on my Christianity, what would I have to prove my Christianity? Meaning, how many scriptures did I know? What type of information did I know from the Bible? And when it was this long moment that was also really short. And I was so convicted because I said, I've been saying that I'm a Christian since I was 7 years old. But if you asked me to prove, if you could, you know, prove your Christianity, what would that even be? What would that look like? Would anybody be able to look at my life and say that outside of, oh, she just doesn't do this stuff or she doesn't, like, it needs to be deeper. And that for me started this entire journey of, my expectation is if I was expected to know this stuff for my sorority in a short amount of time, I bet I can be expected to know some information about something that I claim my entire life centers around. So that's why I'm really passionate about biblical literacy, especially about women like getting in and studying Bible, millennials, just young people, just knowing what you believe, why you believe it, and knowing scripture, because that's truly what gives you the foundation to make decisions and to live your life in a life that is according to the Bible and according to what Jesus would like to see.
Yeah. So, okay, after that, after you realized you needed to go deeper with God, what did you do? What did that process look like for you?
You said, what did I do?
Yeah, what did the process of, like, you know, learning more about God and your faith, what did it look like for you? Because you kind of went on a spiritual journey of your own.
Yeah, it's really funny because I was in middle school probably. It's the first experience I ever had with somebody that claimed that they were a prophet. And they came to my church. I don't really remember much about that experience except, you know, they have this little line, and then I was taught you always go up for prayer, like you never turn down prayer. So I walked up to the line, and I don't remember what else he said, but he was like, you need to watch the music that you're listening to, like you have to protect your ears. And I remember listening to it, and I was like, I listen to clean music, like I don't even know what you're talking about, like so it like didn't register. So in this moment that I realized I need to check my faith, the first thing that came back to my mind was, oh, like maybe I should just start with listening to different music. So I decided to fast from music. And I know some people get real shady about what you should fast from and what you shouldn't fast from. But I will say, for me, that was the perfect place to start because it caused me to look for other things. So if I need to look for other type of information, other type of music, got on YouTube, found out about this whole music scene. Within that, I found out that preachers actually have messages on YouTube. Like, I had no idea. And it just opened up all of these things because that saying says, you know, when you're ready, the teacher will appear. And God just kept revealing things. So, you know, it started out with music, then into different sermons and really learning how to study scripture and learning the structure of the Bible. And it went on this whole thing. And then I got super deep and was buying theology books. It just went from like 0 to 100 really, really quickly. But for me, it was just a commitment of I'm going to be cautious about what I see and what I consume. And because I had so many different things going on, I wasn't really watching TV at that time. So all my free time when I wasn't trying to graduate was studying scripture. And God just blew my mind that whole season because that was the last semester of college. I was taking about 22 hours. I was working. I was trying to graduate. And those of you that have been to college and know that last semester was really crazy. So God was like stretching time. There were times I still have that agenda and I'm like, I don't even know how I did all this stuff. Like it was crazy. It was miraculous. But yeah, for those of you that just want to know God more, I think the first step is just having an open heart. And God will show you the things that you need to do. So it might be a fast from certain type of music. It might be a fast from social media. It might be a fast from food, like whatever it is. Don't despise your small beginnings because God will totally expand that and make sure that that you're really in alignment with what wants to be in that season.
Yeah. You know what? You say something that makes me remember my own journey. And I remember when I like completely surrendered, like for real surrendered, because I was the same. I confessed Christ when I was younger, but really, I mean, you were just reading your book. You were much better off than I was.
Part 2. two coming. I have part two coming.
Oh. But when I finally surrendered and I said, you know what, God, okay, I surrender. And I told this story last night on Instagram, but I heard God say it's life or death. And I just remember the first thing that I was like, I said, God, okay, if I'm going to like really follow you, then I have to have a better like mouth, the way I talk. And like, I can't, curse and things like that. So can you help me? Because I really don't know how to stop cursing. Like I used to curse. And, the first thing he had me do was the same thing, fast from music. So I was like, okay, fine. So I won't listen to music. So I stopped listening to the music that I was listening to. I stopped watching the shows that I was watching. And so literally I just did a fast from media, and I thought it was going to be for like 6 weeks, and then 6 weeks turned to 3 months, and then a year, and then 3 years. And now, I'm still fasting from music.
Lifestyle.
Pretty much. It's like a whole new lifestyle. So yeah, I think that's definitely a common thing where God will just say, okay, you surrender one thing and he'll take you baby steps. So yep, don't despise your small beginnings. I love that message. Okay, Casey, so tell us about some of the steps. Of course, she can't tell you all of the steps, guys. Get the book. This book will bless your life. I'm telling you, I was the editor, and as I was reading this book, every single time I read it, it was just like it hit me like a pile of bricks, and it was so good. It's so well written. She tells amazing stories about her own life. And so, I just love this book. Okay, Casey, tell us some of the steps to dream, build, and repeat.
Yes. Thank you. So the first step, and I've already kind of touched on it, it's really to review. So when you realize that you're in this time of dreaming, building, and repeating, I think it's ideal for people to grab this book, whether you're man or woman, younger or older, whatever. It's for you that if you feel like you're in some transition period where you've been doing something, you're ready to do something different, you're not sure what those steps are. If you feel like you are not only stuck, but maybe you're just trying to expand and grow, really get deeper into who you are and getting clear about what makes you unique, all of those different things. And so Dream, Build, Repeat it's the ultimate kind of the 3-step process, but within that, there are the 7 steps, and the very first step is to review. So in order for you to start dreaming again, you have to review and think back on what's happened in your life. So I truly believe that everything that has happened in your life is a part of your story. It's an integral part of your story. A lot of times we try to leave certain parts of our story out. So I try to leave that part of my story about the loss from that patch out of my story because I felt like it wasn't good enough. I felt like I was going to be judged for that, right? Some of us want to leave parts of our story out because we don't feel like it really affected us. We think about it, but I've grown past that. I don't need to revisit that. So you really need to review and say, where did I pick up these mentalities from? Where did I pick up these habits? And in that discovery, then you start to say, okay, what's the good stuff that I want to keep? And what's the stuff that I need to heal from? Because those two things are still so important to know, like the good things. So sometimes when we review and start that process, we realize that, I have always really loved to speak. I can think back when I was 9 years old and somebody told me I was an excellent speaker and I was going to be a speaker. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. And so when you think about that, you have to think about the things that you want to keep and the things that you say, okay, I recognize that this is an issue. I recognize that this particular instance hurt me deeply. But once I recognize it, now I can recognize the trigger. So I always say that you need to review first and then continue on that journey within the next few steps. It really takes you on your past, your present, and then also your future, where you want to be. And one of the later steps is to resurrect. So really to resurrect that old dream, that dream that you thought it was too late for you, that dream that you thought you missed. And this is one of the things, especially in this time, people are saying, you have to use this time like this. We feel like, oh, I missed that moment. I missed that moment when I was supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. Or I should have done this and it didn't happen, and so it can't happen for me now. And I truly believe that even if you missed that moment, that was just a moment. You didn't miss your moment. And so I always encourage people that even if you feel like it's too late, if you feel like you should have had X, Y, and Z, it's not too late. And so you do have the opportunity to resurrect that dream. And so go on that 7-step process I kind of told you at the beginning and the end. But really it takes you on a journey to identify what you're good at, how you can grow in those gifts, how you can start healing from some of those past issues that you've had, and really get the confidence in order to move forward, which is what I ultimately want. I don't want people to get stuck in the dream phase. I want people to move past that into the action phase.
That's good. Yeah, because a lot of times we have these big dreams and, you know, it's great to dream, but now what's next? How are we going to implement these things? And so, yeah, Casey's book definitely helps us with that implementation. Okay, so Casey, what should people be doing during this time? You know, people who realize like right now we have a divine reset. We do have time, you know, to kind of evaluate or reflect or start over, launch something, or even whether it's go deeper with God, whatever it is, you can even launch your spiritual life again. So how do you go about building your dreams during this time of this global pandemic?
Yes, good question. I think there are two approaches to this. One, you could be the person that you have been praying for this moment. Like you have just been so busy, and I travel a lot. Like if you all, or when you start following me on social media, you realize when it's not a pandemic, I'm on the road. Like I travel so much. And when you're going, it's more of a challenge to sit down, rest, and reset. So some of you have been praying for time. You've been praying for space, mental space. And what I don't want people to do is say, just because you have the time, that you have to fill that time. So sometimes growth, personal growth, is taking a moment, taking a step back, and feeling okay with taking that step back. Because what I found is that in that stillness, it still allows you space to grow, space to listen, space to learn yourself. So even if you are not being quote unquote productive, you still have the opportunity to be productive in learning yourself and learning your gifts and your talents. So if it's your time to just take a moment without any shame. Like do not let the internet pressure you into filling that space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On the other hand, you might have people that have also been praying for this moment, but then they're saying like, oh, I don't know, should I start? Where do I start? What do I do? I don't know. They're asking all these questions, and I think that's a great place to start because as I mentioned before, like when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So use this time to learn as much as you can, but not only learn, implement along the way. So what I love is to do almost like an acceleration model, and this is what I like to do even with my coaching clients, is you learn something, you do it. You learn something, you do it. It's not, I'm going to learn everything in the world, try to get all of my information, and then take action. Like, we don't know when this pandemic is going to end. Like, what if it ends next week? I'm trying to get as much done now as I can, right? So I'll learn something and implement, learn something and implement. Don't get stuck in that limbo. Like, we have to learn how to make a decision. So within these times, just think about, like, which one do you fall into? Do you need to be resting? Do you need to be taking action? Don't pressure yourself either way, but do something. Mm-hmm. Make a decision and do something. Don't allow this space and time to pass you by without you feeling that you maximized it, whatever that looks like for you.
So I want to ask you that question though. What does that look like for Casey? So what have you been doing? How have you been spending this time?
Yes. Well, I'm preaching to myself because the first week that I was not going to the office, I wasn't allowed to travel anymore. And I'm like, okay, I have so much time. I'm going to do all these things because I had some stuff that I wanted to do in April. And it was March at the time. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have so much time to do it. When I tell you, there was no off button. Like, I was working so much, and I realized how drained I was. Like, it was just, by the end of the day, my brain was fried, and God really convicted me about it. And I thought, okay, if this pandemic And it wasn't, I don't even know if it was a pandemic at the time, if they called it that.
Mm-hmm.
But what if this time off is only for a week? And this was the week that God had given me just to rest. And I said, you know what I'm going to start doing? Instead of sitting here in the same place for 17 hours, like I am going to work, close my laptop, like turn all the things off, do a workout video, go outside for a walk, take a bubble bath, burn my candles, cook food. So I just went on this whole like eat, pray, love journey. And and that I thought was only gonna be a week, and that extended to 2 weeks, that extended to 3 weeks. And I tell you, by that third week, I felt so centered. Like it was something that I had been praying for all last year. I said, I have to figure out how to change my stress levels. Like I could feel that I was stressed, but I didn't really know how to like de-stress. And those 3 weeks, it was just like, oh my gosh, I felt so much better. And now it has given me such a clear mind to create, to do things. Now my body truly knows what balance is. And I understand, you know, I still work a lot, but now I'm turning things off. I'm still getting physical activity. I'm not beating myself up if I didn't accomplish all 15 things on my to-do list. Instead of that, I'm doing 3 things on my to-do list. I'm doing 1 thing on my to-do list. So it's really forced me to prioritize and just let myself be free to not work all the time.
I love that. And it's so important because, you know, as go-getters, especially, you know, there's a lot of millennials that watch, and, you know, we are like, go, like full stream ahead. When you're an entrepreneur, you're like full stream ahead. Even in ministry, like it's like, let's just go and do it. But it's okay to rest. Like rest is actually a promise from God. And when we don't take his rest, we are actually putting ourselves, guys, under a curse, and we don't need to be. We can rest and feel confident in that and feel good about it and know that even the Lord rested. So don't beat yourself up if you just find yourself tired or if you find yourself needing to take a break. It is okay. God prefers that we rest and not just run and go. Okay.
Absolutely. It's a Sabbath.
It's a Sabbath. Yes. Take a Sabbath, guys. Don't run yourself to death. Don't just work every moment of every day. I'm not about that no days off life. Okay. So anyway, Casey, what else? Okay. I feel like we've covered so much. Does anyone have questions for Casey? People are like, great points. Amen. Yes. I told you all this was going to be good. So if you have any questions for Casey, go ahead and type them and we will definitely answer them, or me, go ahead and type them. So just a reset, guys, you're watching Write What's Real. These are live author conversations, and I just love talking with nonfiction authors about their books, about their processes, and about, you know, what led them to write. Write What's Real is a author suite at Elohai International Publishing and Media, which I run, and basically what we try to do with Write What's Real is provide resources and tools for authors. And so if you all need more help, I will post the link. You can visit Elohai INTL/WWR. I know that's probably, I should have put it in the broadcast, but you can also visit that link, and we have some really amazing resources. Right now we have an awesome bundle for authors. It's like $47, and we're providing classes on how to plan, write, and publish your book, also how to do an ebook. And we have a writers community, guys, where we have conversations, and we're about to kick off a challenge, a May Writers Challenge. So if you all want more information about that, you can visit the Write What's Real link in my bio. We're talking with Casey Sharperson. Casey, tell everyone how to find you, where to follow you, and how to get your book. Oh, and we have a question. How has your family influenced your journey?
So interesting that someone would pose this question. How has my family influenced my journey? I think that family influences us in a lot of different ways. It can influence us in good ways and also ways that we may need to grow from. But for me personally, I would say that my family influenced my journey because a lot of the principles, how I was raised really impacted how how I approach life, and then that then influenced the decision that I made and how I moved forward. And so I will say that those pivotal moments, as far as, you know, the Miss Claflin pageant, going, studying abroad, like all those things, I really had support from my family. And I will even say that that moment where I had that kind of breakdown, if you will, after Miss Claflin, it, I think, brought me to the realization that I had been taking my family for granted in a lot of ways. And I decided to use that time to really heal, and just became a lot more open with my parents and family and all of that. And so I say, like, even through that, I didn't include that part in the book, but there are so many little things that we feel like that we never would have experienced if certain things didn't happen. So it's really God just weaving this perfect quilt of, oh, if I had done this, then my life would have been perfect. But God said, no, I wanted you to go on this journey during this time so that you could go heal your heart, heal your family, heal all of these things, do one of the other dreams that you always wanted to do, but you forgot about. So yeah, that's a little bit of how the family influenced my journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we have another question. So she says, was it rough to start when you started your book, or was it an easy flow for you? So let's talk about your book writing process.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you, my book writing process was a hot mess. It was so hard. It's so hard for me. I don't feel like it had to, well, I was gonna say I don't feel like it had to be this hard. It was my journey, right? Like it was my journey. And the reason that I felt like it was really hard was because of all the things that I wrote about in the book. It was like there was still this small voice. My mentor calls it little me. It was like still little me in the back of my head that said, you know, these stories aren't enough, and like who's gonna read it, all of that stuff. So I really was dealing like heavy with those thoughts, self-editing, you know, typing a paragraph, deleting the whole paragraph, starting over, type, delete, start over. And it was just a hot mess. But I will say the reason that the book is done is because I had been praying about it. I had gotten to a point where I'd written about half of it. And I was just like, this is hard. Like, I feel like it shouldn't be this hard. I don't really want to do this anymore. I need to know, like, should I be working on this book, or am I wasting my time? So I went, I actually flew down to South Carolina. I went to see a friend of mine. I was on the phone with her, and I felt like this deep, I need to be in South Carolina, like ASAP. So I booked a flight. It was 2 weeks out. And I got to South Carolina that Friday night. I was at dinner with my parents, and my dad looks at me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to speak at church on Sunday?" And I'm like, "I didn't come for this. Like, I legitimately came to see my friend. I'm not trying to speak. And like, also, I don't have anything prepared." He goes, "No, just let me know." Anyway, we go back and forth, and I said, "Fine. You know, if the pastor says that I could preach on Sunday, like, I guess." Lo and behold, the pastor said I could preach, and I was like, "Oh gosh, oh man, what am I going to teach on?" That was truly a Holy Spirit moment. I was just like going through my notes and like, this seems like it might be a good message. I don't know. And sending the stuff, and the pastor's like, yep, that sounds good. And I'm like, how did I get here? So Sunday comes, and I had barely any time to prepare, but it was truly Holy Spirit led. And at the end of that message, the pastor comes up to me, and he's like, I feel like that we have never done this. I think we've only done this one time in the history, the 12 years of this church. I feel like we need to take up a seed offering for you. I was like, a seed? And he was like, yeah, we need to take up a seed offering for you. And I just truly believe that God is going to do something with this seed. I was like, okay, great. So they all pray for me. They take up some money. And at the end of the service, the pastor, I was just talking to him, and he goes, "No, Casey, I was serious. Like, let me know what you do with this seed." Like, okay. So, because in my brain, I'm like, oh, this could like pay a little bit of rent or something, right? And I look at the amount. I see the amount. It is the exact number needed in order to get the book done. And I'm like, oh crap, I think I have to do this book. And the moment that I had this accountability, one, I had somebody asking me like, you better not squander this seed, right? Use this seed. I reached out to Natasha, and I was like, hey, so can you edit my book finally? Like we've been in talks for a while, and she's like, yeah, send me the whole manuscript. And I'm like, the whole thing? Like the whole thing? I think I have to get this done now. So for me, it was like the moment I had that idea, like I have to get it done. And I really felt this pressure that needed to get done ASAP. I then reached out, because that's the thing, like I didn't feel the urgency, right? And so the moment that I had the seed, the moment that I reached out to Natasha was like, okay. And I paid my money. I'm like, I got to give her my stuff, right? So if you are on the fence, if you feel like it's taking you a super long time, I would encourage you to really understand your mission and to think about the people that are tied to your obedience. And now I'm super grateful that I took action then, because like, hello, we're in a global pandemic right now. Like the book came out in October of last year. Like it was perfect timing of all the things that were to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So someone says how do you maintain confidence after a hard day or a hard moment at work?
So good. I've had many hard moments at work. I feel like I could write a whole other book about hard moments at work and like hot mess work stories that I have. But I will say that your life is so much bigger than one day. Your life is so much bigger than one moment. So we can't allow ourselves to get stuck in how we feel right now. I'm always thinking future focused, right? Like what's next? Who do I want to be? Where am I going? So understanding that, okay, this moment might be hard, and this moment might be a challenge, but what's my ultimate goal? My ultimate goal is this is the work that I'm doing, and this work is impacting these people. Or you say like, okay, this job just really every day is hard, and I feel like God told me to leave a long time ago, but I'm being disobedient. Like, be obedient. So be confident in who you are right now, and don't get bogged down in the day-to-day and saying, like, I just don't feel it. You have to understand that your life is so much bigger than this one moment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So there was a question, and I'm still learning how to work questions, you all. So I think I missed a question. Oh, someone says, does the length of the book matter? I get stuck on me not sharing enough and fear of the book being short. Yeah, so I guess I can answer that question. So if you're writing a nonfiction book, so here's the thing. If you're self-publishing your book, guys, don't worry about word count. If you're self-publishing or independently publishing, don't worry about word count. Don't worry about how long it is. Don't worry about how many chapters you have. Just write until you can't write anymore. And then give the book to an editor and let the editor give you an opinion on, do you need to add more? Okay. So that's number one. Because as a self-published author or independently published author, you control everything. You control how long your book is, when your book can come out, how much it costs. So don't sweat it. Okay. But if you are basically going to pitch your book to a traditional publisher or a literary agent who's going to pitch your book to a traditional publisher, like one of the big three, like Simon & Schuster or one of the big three, then that's when you have to worry about word count, okay? So what I would suggest for all of you new authors who are writing your books now, stop looking at the word count. Stop also self-editing. You can self-edit, but don't write and then edit. Write and then edit. And Kia is in our Write What's Real author suite. And so she's probably listening to my videos now when I teach them that. But yeah, so don't worry about the word count. Casey, did you want to respond to that or?
Yeah, it's fear, right? So you said, I get stuck in the fear that it won't be long enough. It won't be enough. That's truly the root of it. Is your book enough? That's your big question. And the answer is, if it is in your heart to do it, do it. The people that will be attracted to it will be attracted to it. You need to be confident in your work. And I say this from a very real place. I don't know, Natasha, if you saw this with like my speed or lack of speed of response in certain areas that I really, really, really was struggling with. Will this book be enough? And I had to just press through. Like, you can't overcome until you press through and you just say, this is what it is. I'm trusting myself. I'm trusting my expertise. And I'm moving forward. So don't get stuck on the word count.
Yeah, don't get stuck. And again, guys, you're not going to be the last eyes that review your book before it comes out. Okay. So you'll have an editor, you'll have other people, some of our authors, when they're writing about really tough topics like, family scandal and things like that, we always suggest that they'll have someone else that they trust also read their book over before it goes out. So don't sweat the writing process too much, and it will be enough, you all. And so many books that have done really, really well are so short, there is a book by Mike Murdoch that really blew my mind it's like this big, so some of the really powerful books are short books. So yeah, don't, a lot of times, I like how you said that it has to do with, is it enough? And so you have to know that you are enough. Okay, so we have to wrap up. We have less than 2 minutes left. Casey, what else do you want to tell people before they leave? How can they find you, and where should they get your book?
Yes, I would love for you all to follow me on social media. So here, Facebook, Instagram, at Casey Curry. Again, really easy to find. You can grab the book. I do see that some of you all have already gotten the book, so that's awesome. Dream, Build, Repeat. It's available on my website, CaseySharperson.com, where you can also get it on Amazon. It is not a super long read, but it's about 140 pages. So yeah, it's awesome. And that's another thing. I do want to say, I have to shout out Natasha. Like, she is so awesome. Every time somebody asks me, how do I write a book? And I'm like, oh, here are my 3 steps. But also, you just need to reach out to Natasha. She'll get it done for you. She'll do your cover. She'll do all of that. She published my dad's book last year or the year before last. So yeah, I keep sending people to her. So she's awesome. If you are on the fence about writing your book, you feel like you want to write a book, reach out to Natasha.
Thank you, Casey. You all, thank you so much for watching. This was Write What's Real. Visit us at elohipublishing.com. We're going to be back next Tuesday with another edition of Write What's Real. We have author Mudiwa Noel. She wrote a fabulous book, and I can't wait for you all to meet her. If you all have questions, if you need help, send me a DM and visit the Write What's Real link in my bio. That will help you out. God bless you all. God bless you, Casey. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys. I look forward to seeing you on Instagram.
Bye. Yes, follow Casey and me. Bye-bye.